Got them 16s, dog.
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
No do-rag, Skywalker Steel. Boom! Only on special occasions, ladies and gentlemen. Only on special occasions. Coming up today, we are going around the nation. Yes, around the nation, checking out all the nuggets and reviews from the Cowboys' first padded practice of training camp. And it was a fun one. There was a lot of positive takeaways coming out of yesterday, both on the field, off the field, even though some people will say no. But it was a really good day all around for the Cowboys, and we're going to break it down, take a look at a couple individuals who were down there, break down their notes, and yeah, you guys can call in if you want to as well. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. Would like to know how you felt about yesterday's first padded practice. But before all that, we'll hit the roundup, and we got some, again, good news from off the field that obviously will translate on the field at some point. What's good with your bomb squad?
Bomb squad!
Hey. So the audio situation, okay? Somebody said something yesterday, and let me turn me back up and make sure I'm good here. Whenever I have a guest on, for whatever reason, it lowers me and I have to adjust the audio and set the gain way up. I forgot to readjust the gain. So when you heard them 16s in your ear, that was on me. I apologize, Cowboys Nation. My bad. Yeah, not new glasses, old glasses. I left my glasses in my wife's car, so these are the old glasses. But let's get into this thing, Cowboys Nation. It was a lot to go over. And before we break down, like I said, a lot of notes. We're going to talk about a lot of notes. Plus, there was a major reveal yesterday that I was a bit shocked. I feel like there was a bit of a slip up there, and we'll touch on that as well. All right, let's get into it, Cowboys Nation.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you as soon as I change this morning roundup. See, this ain't what we talked about yesterday or today. This is what we finna talk about today. Trayvon Diggs has been activated off the PUP list. The PUP list, Cowboys Nation. They, however, are going to be taking this slow. And I saw a little video of Trayvon Diggs getting out of his break or what have you. I agree they should be taking it slow. It's going to be about trusting that need for Trayvon Diggs. And that's something that we've been talking a lot about here. I'm optimistic cautiously because I'm still scorned from the ACL situations in Dallas. But this is what Coach Mike McCarthy had to say at the press conference. The biggest thing is for him to stay on his rehab program with Britt Brown, and to get him into the jog throughs and teaching drills is the first step. We'll see how he progresses into the individual drills. So if I had to guess, we won't be seeing Trayvon Diggs truly padded up maybe until next week. Next week. I'll give it by the end of next week. Hey, maybe that changes. Maybe he crushes it over the next few days. But I'm of the ilk they should definitely take it slow with him. But this is very much good news that they took him off PUP, because that means at the very least they feel like he'll be good to go in the first 4 weeks. Because if not, they would have kept him on PUP all the way through the offseason, all the way to the start of the season, and then he would have been out for, at the very least, the first 4 games of the season. So they could elect to see how this works out. And if he doesn't look good physically, mentally, they could technically put him on IR once the season begins. Because if you IR him during training camp and he stays on IR, then he has to be there the whole entire season. So we're not out the woods yet on Trayvon Diggs, but this is great news to start to see him possibly practicing, obviously, and possibly being available early in the season. Cautiously optimistic, though. However, one of them former ACL dudes, boy, he out there. Ooh, he out there balling. He out there balling. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Training camp, huh? The first padded practice. Let me tell you something. I think it is okay, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans are not excited for this season. I told you, once we get to camp, it's put it on repeat for me. I love this game. I love this team. I love talking about them. I just love football, and this is real football to talk about. I get there is a sidebar conversation to be had about the fans and all that stuff, but I'm on the other side where y'all could have that conversation. I am excited to talk about what's happening on the field. So you're going to get a whole lot of tired and wired conversation. The wired meaning, hey, I'm overreacting. Screw what you saying. The tired conversation saying, hey, man, great stuff. Let's see what happens. There's probably no bigger tired or wired conversation to be had than that of Tyler Guyton in his first padded practice showed out and passed pro at the very least. I have a conversation on the other side of that. And let's go ahead and get to some of the nuggets around the nation. Tyler Guyton, brother, have yourself a day. Shouts out to my guys, John Owning and Pat Walker. John said, I cannot be more impressed. He's down there, by the way, by Guyton based on the clips posted today, or he will be down there. He's not down there yet. My God, this is the best case scenario. And Pat said it was even better in person. If I dropped every great rep, I'd have no time to record anyone. And that is the kind of highlight player of the day is one Tyler Guyton and the matchups that he had with Micah Parsons. And he won those matchups, right? That is what the most impressive thing for me is that he's not out there beating up on Chauncey Golston. No offense to Chauncey, but he's out there stonewalling one of the best in the National Football League. And was it all clean throughout? No, but you're not always going to get clean wins against a Micah Parsons, but they were wins. And I had tweeted out, and I should have brought up my tweet, and we've been talking about this. Stop me if you heard it before. Tyler Smith, hand problem, gets with Duke. Immediately, reports are, oh, them hands looking clean. Tyler Guyton, hand problem, gets with Duke. Immediately, those hands got cleaned up real fast. Real fast. I mean, the first day of padded practice, it's not his athleticism that wows me. That was always a thing. It's not him getting to his landmark. That was always a thing. for me, it was the small things. It was how fast is he going to pick those up? We talked about it with Vach. Vach had a fantastic breakdown. Go check it out if you missed it. What, and this is pass pro I'm talking about. I haven't even gotten to the run game part. But it was the small things, opening up your chest, the whole grabby technique thing. Do you have the ability to feint? Do you have the ability to fake the hand, bring it back? Those are things that you develop the more you practice and play. But the raw traits that this kid had was something we talked about during during the draft, and something that could get you excited. Then you start hearing him talk about how he's going to work and all that. And it's like, okay, this sounds like a guy who came in here a couple years ago who was raw but had the mentality to get better. So Guyton goes out there and immediately, man, he battled and won against Micah Parsons. And that should give you a ton of excitement. I get it. I totally get it. One practice. We got to see him play for sure. That's the tired aspect of this. The wired aspect. These motherfuckers done it again. They did it again, Cowboys Nation. The Cowboys have not missed yet in the first round. And I don't know if you guys recall this. There was a lot obviously going on around the draft. Guyton, for me, was one of the last of the first round offensive linemen where I said, look, if they take him in the first round, I'm not saying jack-ish, because they have not missed. Tyron Smith, All-Pro Hall of Famer. Travis Frederick, All-Pro if he didn't retire, Hall of Famer. Zach Martin, All-Pro Hall of Famer. Tyler Smith, All-Pro to TBD, to be decided on the other part. Another Tyler. The wired side, the overreaction Wednesday side, they did it again. Now, whole lot to go, Cowboys Nation. Whole lot to go. But I don't know how you can't look at this and get excited about not just the future. Because for me, remember, I said 2025, BB and Tyler Guyton. I'll be completely honest. That's when I was like, hey, man, the apex of my excitement is going to hit there, because I feel like in year one, we're going to see some growing pains, and you still will. Like, I'm not going to act like you won't. But encouraging signs, going up against one of the best and getting some dubs. The other side of it for me, and, I'm not sure if any of you are down there, if any of you have seen anything. I only saw like 2 run clips. One was a pull, and one was the clip I showed here at the end where I think he read it wrong. 51 knifes in, gets the stop. When you look at Guyton coming out, one of the things we said was, well, as a pass protector, that's his forte. Even if he has to clean some things up, that's something he's going to come in day one and be better at than anything else that he does. He's going to be able to pass pro. He's going to be able to beat some mediocre rushers. The Myles Garretts of the world, the Micahs of the world. We'll see when we get there. It was the run game that I want to hear about, Like, yes, I'm excited about him showing progress as a pass blocker, excuse me, with his hands and things like that. But in order for the Cowboys, in my opinion, on the offensive line to take the next step, it's going to be, how do they block in the run game? I haven't heard anything yet. So I really want to hear about, well, how is he at the point of contact? How is he moving bodies? He's a big guy, 6'7", 6'8", 330, like he should be. But the film showed that that's not really his game, right? Now you get him on the move. You get him out in space. He can thrive out there. I mean, you get a 6'8", 330-pound guy who's athletic running at a corner or safety. Good luck. Or an undersized linebacker. Good luck. But I want to know, how is he doing in the booth, right? In the box. Let me say that. How is he doing in the box in the run game? That's the next step camp-wise for me. Continue to stack good days on top of good days, right? A couple days ago, it was no pad. Tyler Guyton is out there looking good. Pads come on first day. Hey, this is, as Pat would say, spectacular day. But I'm not hearing much about the run. Has anybody heard that? I do want to hear about that, because then that changes everything for me. As much as I love Tyron Smith, how many times, Cowboys Nation, did we come on here, Tape Tuesdays, or just in general having a conversation? Hey man, Tyler was spectacular, using Pat's words. Tyron, I'm sorry. Was spectacular in pass pro, but then you look at him in the run game and it's like, man, you just got to get him in space, because in that box, he's not the same guy. And it's our run game suffered some from that. So if Tyler Guyton, boy, all these Tyron and Tylers again. If Tyler Guyton, he's not going to be Tyron Smith in pass pro, but if he can just be a solid to good, that's the dub. But if he can be an upgrade in the run game, I don't think that's far-fetched. That takes this offensive line, I think, to the next level. Dak can deal with solid to good left tackle, solid to good right tackle, and a stout center. We'll see. But can this run game live with another subpar blocking? That's the big question. That's the big question. So Tyler Guyton, sir, have yourself a day. Mel said, watch them not start Guyton. Bro, that can't happen. Look, I'm not one to overreact, right? But if we're doing tired and wired, the wired side is, did you see Chuma Edoga? I saw Chuma Edoga on the ground way too much. Plus, he shouldn't be out there anyway. How do you keep Chuma out there? You can't. Look, Hoffman has the leverage with the coaches. They love him. I don't know that they love Chuba. And I know Bobby said, he thinks that Chuma and Hoffman are going to be the starters and well into the season. Look, there's no way you can justify starting Chuma Edoga. All right, let's do it again. Wired, I saw enough yesterday to start Tyler Guyton. I already wanted to start him, but if you said you needed to see evidence, I saw enough yesterday to start him over Chuma damn Edoga. I pray to the football gods that they're working Tyler Guyton in and out of the first unit, so that's a good sign. Barring any type of injury, there's just no way he gets out there in preseason. He makes a couple good more blocks, highlights, whatever, and they say, you know what? First round pick, we're going to bring you off the bench at one of the most important positions on the team. And we're going to roll out a very, at best, mediocre left tackle. And I'm being generous here. I don't think he's particularly very good. Lowe's calling in, man, after the first padded practice. Good morning, good sir.
Hey, good morning, Sky. Long time no talk. Hope you're having a blessed morning. Good to hear your voice back every morning.
Thank you, bro.
That's a football game. Hey, many blessings to you. And like you said, man, I'm just going to be upfront about it. You can feel the change of the air about how Cowboys fans are feeling, but I'm not going to talk about that. I think everybody knows.
Hey, Los.
It's clearly football.
It's not great audio, Los, so I'm gonna ask you politely. Can you give me your statement or question, then I'll answer it while you're off the phone.
Yeah, sure. So with this season, pass blocking
Much
and
better.
run blocking is going to be a major importance, right, for this season. Do you feel with this offensive line and has done enough to at least keep Dak upright and at least put some sort of a run game for this season?
Gotcha. I think I got the gist of your question, Los. Appreciate you, big dog. Do I think the offensive line is done enough to keep Dak upright and make the run game better? The first part, I think Dak will be upright enough, right? I think Tyler Guyton is a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. Is he Tyron? Or you're definitely going to take a small step down for sure, or maybe big step, but you're going to take a step down from one of the best pass blocking left tackles in the league last year. Okay, that's just obvious. But you're going to take a step up from Terrence Steele. because he's healthier. He's moving around much better. So I think Dak will handle that fine. The question mark will be, well, the middle, right? Well, Hoffman, if he's a starter, or BB, if he's a starter, are they going to be able to handle the middle pressure? Either way, as long as the middle pressure isn't terrible, I think Dak will be able to. He's a veteran quarterback. He is mobile. He's sharp. I think he'll be able to handle the pass protection. The run game, I can't fake the funk. That's where it becomes really tough to decipher in camp. Now, they got the pads on. That's where you get your first step to see something. But again, you can't really finish. You can't drive guys into the ground. You see a lot of the players going like this, and it's tough, man. So preseason is going to be important. More important, the practices, the scrimmages with the Raiders, I believe, and the Rams. How are these guys? Because now those dudes are trying to drive you in the ground. Those dudes are trying to make a statement to get on the team. So that part of it, the run game, I think you have to wait and see. I'm not sold just yet because I feel like scheme is a big factor. And good news though, Rico did say that there have been some adjustments to how they're blocking. So we'll see if that carries over into the season in a positive way, at the very least. All right, let's go back around the nation. Let's hit up Nick Harris of DallasCowboys.com. He's got 2 nuggets from yesterday. He says, Y.A. Thomas made another big play here in Oxnard as he picked off a Cooper Rush pass intended for Deuce Vaughn on an out route from the slot and would have probably returned it for a touchdown with nobody in front of him. It's been a solid camp so far for a player who stamped his roster spot a year ago. This does not shock me in the slightest that Y.A. Thomas, and not just Y.A., the safeties in general, look like they're having a solid camp out here. We talked about how Mike Zimmer, everywhere he's been, Dallas, Cincinnati, Minnesota, safeties, in my opinion, at every stop have had the most success. Now, defensively, he's had success everywhere. But if you go look at individuals, the safety group runs so deep to where, is it Chris Crocker? I can't remember. That might be his full name. He's having immense success. He's not an all-pro, Pro Bowl type of guy. Anthony Harris leads the league in interceptions. Then Zim leaves, and he's back to being a regular guy. I don't believe Wanye is a regular guy. I believe Wanye has the potential to be your best playmaking safety on the team if given the opportunity, especially in the pass game department. As a rusher, to me, that's Donovan Wilson. And, I've kind of hammered this home a lot with you guys. I went on Foot Show and I talked about this. The difference you're going to see schematically with Zim and these safeties is a lot more half-field reads for the safeties. Half-field coverages, I should say. A few months ago, one of the talking points was, hey, man, Donovan Wilson, I don't think he can. I'm like, wait, y'all. Donovan Wilson on the roof by himself? All right. Donovan Wilson just having to cover from hash to sideline, one hash? That's different. Any safety with athletic ability and experience can look good if they got an adequate pass rush, a solid defensive coordinator. You can make plays back there, and he's more than talented enough to do that playing in the hash. So seeing a Wanye Thomas, go out there and not just today, but you've seen pass breakups previously. Donovan Wilson, he's having, good moments. I think this safety group, and I said this to you guys before, we talk about the linebackers, we talk about the pass rush. I think the safety group, when it's all said and done, and this is me stamping it, will be the unit we come out of next year saying that was the best unit all year. I think it's the deepest unit, and I think they will produce. I just do, because that is what that is what the safety unit does under Mike Zimmer. So Y.A. Thomas making an interception and breaking pass, that doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. But it was one of the notes from Nick Harris. Nick also said Brock Hoffman took a step forward in the center competition with strong play in the middle. Cooper Beebe has been rotating with the first team as much as Guyton, which I think says more about where the confidence is with Hoffman here in the second week of training camp. So, day one, first step for Brock Hoffman with pads, solid first step. I think you're going to hear that word solid a whole lot when it comes to Brock. I think he's probably going to hover around solid. And look, if Brock is solid for you, that's a dub. I think it's a bigger dub if he's a solid swing guy. Somebody said something on Twitter. It's like, I haven't seen the Cooper Beebe highlights. I haven't seen a lot of Cooper Beebe footage either. I don't know what that means. He's been rotating in and out with the first team. But so far, about a week in, it still looks like Brock Hoffman is in the lead here. And I think what we'll really see, where we'll really get the biggest takeaway, is the scrimmages, once again, and preseason. That kind of happened with, not Matt, well, let's go. Who's the other kid? Wisconsin? Nebraska. Fournier. That kind of happened with Matt Fournier. We got to preseason, right? And there was a point in time people were saying, hey, man, Matt Fournier, he could be pushing Connor McGovern. Nope. Got the preseason. Now wasn't the case. He didn't even make the team. I believe he got cut. And I want to say he's somewhere in Detroit or wherever he is at this point. So once they really can go full throttle, I think you'll really see one of these guys separate from each other. BB may do it physically, but if Brock Hoffman is doing it with the technique and nuance and the ability to call out, or just as simple, being able to do shotgun snaps, then I think you'll see Coach Mike Solari continue to just roll with Brock Hoffman. He's already his guy. BB's going to have to snatch that away from him. He's going to have to do it and do it in an impressive fashion, in my opinion. Tyrone, what's good with you, man?
It's been a while, brother. How you been?
I have been fantastic getting through this off season and life changes, but we here.
Yes, sir. You know, I haven't called in a while, so I have a few questions that's going to be kind of dated.
Let's do it.
So I don't know if you want to talk about those or just talk about the ones that's just for the camp or not.
Well, hey, man, you on the horn. Let's rap.
Okay. So I was just thinking, now seeing that how everybody was throwing a lot of blame after the season towards some of the players, which was rightfully so. But at the same time, I just feel like we were throwing it at the wrong people, because I feel like the common denominator is never going to change. That's going to be the GM. I think the question to all our problems, the answer to all our problems is right in front of our face. That's the change of GM. We need a GM. 49ers has shown what a good GM can do. Patriots have shown what a bad GM can do to your team. If you have a good GM, the thing with Mazi would not happen last year.
Yeah.
We already had small one techniques already. For the last 10 years, we are showing it's been proven that having a small one technique is not good for stopping the run. But yet we brought him in anyways and made him lose weight. We let Dan Quinn do that. You cannot do that. But if you have a good GM on your team, you not let your coach allow your players to lose weight like that. And that same thing on that, I just feel like if you had a good GM last year, Mike Gallup would not be on the field. He should not be on the field last year. Not to kick your horse when he's down.
Well, you had a good GM. They wouldn't even have signed him, bro.
You said, well, I'm so sorry?
They wouldn't even have signed him if he had a good GM.
Exactly. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, everybody saying Dak could be traded and Michael Parsons be traded and get off. It doesn't make sense. I understand y'all frustrated, but y'all throwing the hate at the wrong thing just because y'all know the front office is never going to change, so you're trying to find fault and everything else. Dak is not a bad quarterback. It's okay that Parsons want to have him a little stream on the side. He's a young man. He needs to have his own let-outs when he got off the field. Which leads to my next question as far as the GM part. Do you think, and the same thing for the chat, I'm asking for the chat as well, do you think the Cowboys know how to build a team around Dak? I'm not saying they don't know how to draft. I'm not saying they don't know how to bring free agents. Do you think they know how to build a team around what he does best? And I ask that because I watched Dak for years, and it seems like he likes bigger wide receivers, 6'1" and up. I just feel like he can see him better. That's why I got kind of antsy when I seen Cook came in last year. I just don't feel like he can see him as well because his stature. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't agree. He's performed well with Cole Beasley, Randall Cobb. He got him paid, so I mean, he's had success with smaller receivers. But you know, I want to go away from the first part of that question, where you said, do they know how to build around Dak? I mean, I think you could just take away Dak. Do they know how to build around their great players? Period. That to me would be the question. And this is kind of just spitballing this off the top of my head. And I'm not in the brain trust of any other organization. But to me, it feels like there's a bigger goal process for some of these other teams. Philly, San Fran, the Giants, even the Bengals when they went on that run. Definitely the Chiefs. Detroit. What Detroit is doing right now, bro, what Detroit is doing is exactly what the Dallas Cowboys should have did after the first 12-5 season. They said, "Oh, we close. We close. We got a quarterback in our prime. We got an offensive line that's obviously good. We're going to keep these guys intact, and we're going to add on to where our deficiencies are, and we're going to try to attack this short window, right, of being a really great organization." Because let's be honest, they're a great team building organization at this moment. Their team is stacked. It's a really good team. But I feel like in Dallas, there isn't a I don't know how to put this. It seems more individual. How about that? It seems like, okay, we've individually hit on a Deron Bland and on a Trayvon Diggs and on a, but where's the process to put legitimate pieces around those guys in the sense of, okay, this scheme fits them the best, let's roll. Okay, this player is going to complement him in free agency the best, let's go out and get him. Okay, we can't lose an Amari Cooper for an ACL Michael Gallup. Let's keep these guys intact. What is the true process aside from just grabbing a bunch of individual guys and saying, all right, let's go out there and do it? We're on like our 12th defensive coordinator in the last 8 years or whatever it is. We're on our third offensive scheme, and each offensive scheme has the same thing where we're not complementing. The run game's not complementing with the pass game. The pass game not complementing the run game. We got peanut butter, no jelly. Like, it just feels like we're just doing shit and we're getting by, right? We're getting by. We're winning 12 games. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty and other teams who have a legitimate process to win in the postseason, their moves are paying off. The Rams' moves pay off in the postseason. The Detroit moves have paid off in the postseason. The Niners' moves have paid off in the postseason. The Eagles' moves have paid off in the postseason. And then obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So that first part to me, I say take out Dak's name. Can this organization build around its great players, period? I mean, the answer is no. Right now.
That's so frustrating. That's so frustrating here.
Sorry for the long-winded answer.
You said what? No, you're fine. I'll move on to my next question. It's referring to the running backs. I don't have the list in front of me. If you can, bring up the free agency list if you can. All right. But I have a theory that's going on in my head that I believe the Cowboys going. I know a lot of people doing the two-headed monster. I started be doing the two-headed monster, but we're going to do the same thing with our backups as well. We're going to bring in another speed back that's like Rico Dowdle. Even though he's not a speed back, he's like an average all-around back. And we're going to let the second person be our power back. So if my theory is right on that, who's going to win the power back on the second one? It's going to be Royce Freeman. It's going to be Hunter Lemke. And if who's going to win the second speed back position? If what's his name? The short guy. I forgot his name. Little short guy. Dusman. If he doesn't work out, who in free agency you think that we can bring in that more changes his pace back? I know you and I talk about trading for, but I don't see us probably trading probably.
I agree.
Who do you think in free agency that can be like Rico, that can do a little bit everything in case he get hurt? I feel like we're doing a 2-on-2. If Zeke get hurt, you bring in Hunter or Royce Freeman to back him up. If Rico get hurt, you bring in somebody like him to keep carrying the load.
Hey, that is a fantastic segue because the next nugget from around the nation I want to talk about is running back. So if you don't mind, Tyrone, I'm going to get right to it and I'm going to answer your question, bro.
Okay.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Shouts out to brother Jeff, who is down there right now. Jeff Kavanaugh. He said, it's one day in pads, but Rico Dowdle is the best running back here, and there's not a lot to argue about. Kind of goes a little bit with the running back question you said. Who is the power guy and who is kind of the juice guy if it's not Deuce Vaughn? I could sit here and spend a whole lot of time on Rico Dowdle. Right? We've been here, done that with Rico. We know what it is with him. He has all the talent in the world to be a really solid slasher, a guy who can fit a really good role in a 1-2 punch, in a running back by committee, whatever. The talent has never been a question for Rico. It's always been about the injuries. And I've said it time and again this offseason when somebody was like, hey, I think Rico's going to be one of the surprise camp guys. I'm like, Rico was never a surprise camp guy because he's always that guy at camp. That's always been the case. But Stephen Jones said something yesterday that sounded to me like he might have slipped up and then told us what's going to happen at the running back position. So let's go ahead and take a listen at that. This is Stephen Jones yesterday talking to 105 Through the Fan about Royce Freeman.
The Freeman guy is really impressed. A guy that, we were just talking about it last night at the scout dinner is what in the hell was he doing, sitting around out there? Interesting guy to just have been sitting there. And, he's a great 2-3 combination in terms of what he can do as a backup. He's got, big, thick guy, and he's a hell of a special teams player as well. But he'll be a good addition, and I think a great compliment to Zeke. And then we'll let these young guys between the Ricos and the Maliks and those guys battle it out.
Wait a minute now. Wait, look, y'all know me. I 100% feel like Royce Freeman can be a guy in this running back by committee. I've said that to you guys from day one. I hate to use the term, is he being slept on or whatever. This whole running back room is quote unquote slept on because it's not a particularly confident group in the sense of giving us confidence. But Royce doesn't have a lot of mileage, has the special teams that Steven talked about. His film is pretty solid for a guy that can be a 2-3, like he said. But these quotes stuck out to me. He's a great 2-3. He'll be a good addition. We'll let the young guys, but he said, and then we'll let the young guys between the Ricos and Malik battle it out. Dog, I thought Royce could be a part of this thing, but I thought he was truly going to have to go out there and just go crazy. You can't go crazy in camp. But they're talking about him at dinners. This is the front office. Now, I don't particularly like these guys, but when they talk about personnel and saying guys are already on this damn team, well, we know how they do. Royce Freeman's already on this team, y'all. That's what I heard. Am I tired or wired? Tired? Hey, Royce is just playing well and he's looking like a guy that could be a 2-3. Wired? Royce is running back 2. Zeke is running back 1. And Rico Dowdle has to battle Malik Davis. What? Let me calm back down. I am all for Royce making this team. And I am by no means do I think that Rico Dowdle is a special runner. But I do think Rico Dowdle has shown last year that he can at least be a quality guy in rotation. In no world should Malik Davis's name even be brought up at this point in regards to Rico. No world. Maybe he's messed up. Maybe he meant to say, hey, and we're going to let the young guys, Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis and Snoop Connor, battle it out. But y'all, as much as we don't like these guys, when they say things like this, my antennas poke up. Because it sounds like to me, Zeke, Royce, Lipke made it. And then whoever wins after that. I didn't see that coming. I thought it would be Zeke, Rico, and then they'll battle it out. Personally, for me, I'd go Zeke, Rico, Royce, Deuce. But that's just me coming into camp. Obviously, they got to play this thing out. My bad. That just kind of threw me off a little bit. I didn't expect this early, excuse me, for the front office to come out and kind of stamp players that I thought were going to be fighting for this roster in general. Now, Cowboys Nation, if that indeed is the 1-2, it's a powerful 1-2. Let me just say that. If Zeke and Royce is your 1-2, now he did say 2-3, so maybe they will go Zeke and it's Rico with. That's how I envision it. But here's the thing, and this isn't new. I mean, we've heard. I think it was we did a show, me, Jeff, and Vach, and I want to say maybe on a roundtable. I can't remember if we did a roundtable and had this discussion. But a lot of people have said, well, they think Rico's going to be the best running back on this team, even with Zeke. But the best running back and RB1 in this organization do not exist. The best running back and RB1 on this team do not exist when a specific player has been on this team, historically speaking. Why would I think that's going to change? I don't. That's your answer. I don't think that is going to change. AG. So here's the thing, AG. You said, did I hear Sky say he prefers Zeke as RB1? No. I prefer RB1 doesn't matter to me if they're going to run a running back by committee. That's another discussion. Will they truly do it? I would prefer if the group was Zeke, Rico, Royce, and Deuce. I'd prefer that group over the other combinations going into camp is what I prefer. As for RB1, I mean, what does RB1 consist of? Does it consist of them touching the ball 15 to 20 times? Then hell no. Then it definitely matters who's RB1. But if RB1 and this committee approaches these guys getting 10, 11 touches, RB1, RB2 getting 10 to 12 touches apiece, then that to me doesn't really matter that much. So you get 8 to 10 from RB2, 10, 11 from RB1, 5 to 6 from the third guy, and it all adds up. But boy, that was interesting to me. I want to keep in fact, I'm going to reach out down there. Like, was that a legitimate slip up? Did he mean to say Malik and somebody else? Is Royce truly fight? Like, they all should be fighting. Let me say that. They all should be fighting, competing. But Royce has been on this team for what, 4 years? He was your RB2 last year. I thought he proved enough, now that you signed him back, to say, okay, this guy is going to be on the team, barring any injury. Let's get him out there, practice. Maybe he gets a preseason game or two, maybe. And then we sit him down because he's an injury-prone guy. That's not what I heard, man. It's not what I heard. RB1 starts the game. Yeah, and that could mean absolutely nothing, right, Beatrice? Like, you can go out there. All right, 1st and 10, 15 minutes on the clock in the first quarter. You got Cooks, Tolbert, Lamb. You're in 11 personnel. 87 and 15. Play action, 15-yard completion to CeeDee Lamb. All right, here comes Royce, or here it comes. So to me, whoever starts doesn't matter. Whoever they start to get going does. I think those are two different things. If they try to say, hey, man, we want to get Zeke going here, man. We're going to give him 8 carries in the first 10 minutes of the Cowboys having the ball. Well, then get ready for 230 touches Zeke. So whoever starts doesn't matter to me. Whoever they start to get going does. Interesting nugget there, though. D Schiff, what's up with you, man?
Hey, what's going on, Scott? Yeah, I totally agree with you from your running back take because I also think, in years past, we relied on the running game, but now that Dak has stepped into, this realm he's stepping into, we're not used to seeing this type of team. So I think just from being more of a pass-oriented team and then just letting your running back position, the committee, be a compliment. I know you need it, and you need an effective running game, but I think the pieces and the O-line, it might surprise us, honestly. I know there's doom and gloom, but it might be a little bit more of a surprise, kind of on the Tyler Guyton thing, from initial standpoint, first-round rookie, trying to see, but now as you're seeing it going, it might surprise us. But another position that I'm excited about, man, is the linebacker position. What I feel like Kendricks brings in the team of being just that brain and that nucleus, I think he's just underrated. Seeing him get a pick.
He's, I'm a MCU guy. He's kind of Jarvis of this whole thing, or Cerebro, right? If you want to go X-Men of this defense with Mike Zimmer. I feel like, he's Cerebro, where he's very essential to everything, and he can see everything, and he's that guy, or Jarvis if you're an Iron Man fan. That guy in the ear. He's going to be huge. In fact, we're going to talk about him here in a second.
Yeah, it's going to pay dividends for a guy like Damone Clark, who doesn't have to do the thinking. He didn't have anyone that could assist him with that, and so that athletic ability meant nothing. So I think just you'll touch on it, man, and just really excited for this linebacking core and what it's going to actually bring to the team. I think that's another underrated something that we're not really talking about. But man, appreciate you as always, bro.
All right, man, good stuff, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, again, y'all are killing it with the segues. We're gonna go right back around the nation and hit up my guy Kyle Yeomans, who has all the practice footage, so he's getting stuff that we can't even really see all the time. And Kyle had a lot of little notes here we'll get to. So we already talked about Guyton and Hoffman. They impressed on the first day, says Kyle. Now, the linebacker situation. I kind of want to tie a lot of these together. It says overshown, explosive at linebacker. Pass game struggled as a whole. Lots of defensive combos, and communication was good at second level. I feel like all of that can be in one. Starting off with overshown. I only seen a few clips, but he's jumping off the screen. And not only what we're seeing, but what people are reporting, Overshown just looks like that explosive, disruptive type of guy pre-injury. There was a play against Tyler Smith. I didn't clip it up, but there was a play where Tyler looked like he was comboing, or he was at the very least reading what the linebacker was going to do at the second level. If he reacted to a movement, he would just continue to drive and duo block. But it looked combo blocky to me. So he crashes down on defensive tackle, and DeMarvion Overshown diagnoses the play quickly, and he shoots the gap. Fires out like a bullet. Beats Tyler Smith. He has Tyler Smith spinning around, got him in a blender, and probably makes the tackle in a real game. At the very least, he made Zeke cut back inside to where there's more help. You just aren't really seeing the ACL side effects. And again, I'm very cautiously optimistic when it comes to these guys. Demo specifically. Probably now, after I'm watching these two, maybe a little bit more on Trayvon Diggs, because the hype is wearing off in the sense of the homerism's wearing off a bit. And I had to think here. Diggs is going to be asked to do a whole lot of changing of direction. Now, Demo's going to have to do some of that of his own. But that is a little different than just getting downhill majority of the time. Seeing it, putting your foot in the ground and going. cornerbacks are going to do a whole lot more twisting and turning, and there's going to be some confidence thing. Demo looks like there was no confidence issue with that leg. If you just threw out film, took the name off the jersey, the number, and the history of what happened to him, I couldn't tell this dude was hurt last year. I wouldn't be able to tell. Now, again, it's practice, but this is what these reports are for. This is, hey, how is so-and-so looking after injury? He looks explosive. Looks explosive. Now, let me jump down real quick and talk about the communication was good at the second level, because that's something that D-Shift brought up Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks, joke around and talk about being Jarvis, right? One thing I'm noticing in a lot of these clips is Eric Kendricks is at the center of everything that's happening. And right next to him is a combination of DeMarvion Overshown and Clark. Then you get Leah Fowl mixed in. And when you get some of these 3 linebacker sets, maybe you have a Leah Fowl, Clark, Kendricks, or any combination, or it's Micah Parsons playing like the Sam. But we've talked about this all off season. Kendricks is not going to be your best player on the defense, but he will arguably be your most important one. That could be a bit scary for a 30-some-year-old asking that much of him, but this is something he's equipped with. He knows how to do this. He's done this his whole career. If you remove him too soon, I get a little bit nervous at the second level, because this is a new scheme. He is helping these guys. You see a Damone Clark who doesn't have to play the green dot role when he's still getting accustomed to it. You see him flying around. You see Demo just shooting gaps. Maris Leofow. Like, all these guys look better at the second level. In front of them, different discussion. That also ties, though, into the last two things here. Passing game struggled as a whole. Lots of defensive combinations. I think those two can be one of it, just one. I don't even think you have to separate the two. The reason why I think the passing game may have struggled yesterday is because we're seeing a lot more defensive combinations as practice goes on, right? We're at practice number 4. We're in pads. You're going to start seeing Coach Zim unleashing a lot more on the defense side of the ball. And one of the things when I look at these videos, hey, Micah Parsons 101 with Guyton, Guyton with 101 with Nealon, or hey, look at DeMarvion Overshown. Hey, look over here at Jalen Tolbert. Man, look at this great catch by Brooks. I'm like, what are the defensive calls? Can somebody get me the all 22 vert, right? Like, can you zoom out real quick? I want to see where the safeties lined up. What are the linebackers doing? There's a lot of movement. Oh, there's a whole lot of movement. The versatility, we talked about that a lot. The players talked about it. There's a lot more bodies in these windows. You see the linebackers, the staple of the Mike Zimmer, Paul Gunther combination, right? A-gap, mug the A-gaps, and these guys are firing out. Sometimes they're shooting the gaps and they're blitzing. This group of backers, D-Shift, you said you love it. I absolutely love the fit. Athletic, tough, smart. That is the Zimmer way. But the athlete part is huge, because he's going to be asking these guys, get right up on the line of scrimmage and then peel back in that hook zone area, or peel back, and do too much Tampa 2 stuff, but peel back in that middle and take away crossers. You need to be athletic, and you need to be able to do that multiple times a game. And we're seeing it. And I think maybe that practice, and we've seen some of the DBs winning some battles on the outside, but that particular practice with the passing game struggling, I think that has to do with Mike Zimmer unleashing a little bit more. Lots of defensive combinations. We talked about it months ago. We've shown the film. Zim loves to mix it up. You will not have that issue. In fact, maybe we'll come on here one day and we'll say, I don't know, Scott, he got too cute, or he did too much. He's put too much on their plate. But you won't come off of game day and say, man, we ran the same 3 plays. Won't happen, Cowboys Nation. The final 2 practice notes from Kyle Yeomans. He said, I like Mazi and Golston's effort. There's some good footage out there of Mazi Smith's power on true display with the pads on. Now, we talked to Pat Walker the other day, and he said, hey, man, that didn't go away. You know, he's up to 310, and I think they want to get him around 315 is what I've been told. I don't know if that's public or not yet. Whoops. But I think that's the way he wants to be at. And you saw some of that power. I'm not sure if it was against Hoffman. I think one was against Hoffman. One was against 69. Is that, well, let's go 79. One was against somebody else. Maybe it was Dakota Shepley. But you're seeing that. Now you want to see that translate once he gets a preseason and get his confidence back. Because another thing that we talk about with Mazi Smith is the mental aspect of his game, right? He does have some of that Anthony Brown in him in the sense of when AB got beat, you felt it, you see it as, oh, man, gee, golly, the chip on my shoulder done crumbled. Quite literally has a tattoo of a chip on the shoulder. That chip on the shoulder was so corny to me. And that was AB, right? He needed to keep his confidence. He couldn't forget the next play. And when it worked out, it worked out. Mazi, from what it feels like and sounds like, when he gets down on himself, he gets down. Right? And I'll just keep it on the football field. That has an effect on the field, but it unfortunately had an effect off the field for him personally. So, you know, Mazi is going to need a circle to kind of get him going here early on in his career. As a professional dealing with the ups and downs and how to be a pro. Because again, it's not that he doesn't want to put in the work. It's not that he doesn't have the talent, in my opinion. It's putting the intangibles together with that talent. And confidence is one of them. Mazi has to be confident. That was Bass? Okay. So, yeah, he had a pretty good rep against Bass. And you just seen the power. And the power was never the question. Hey, is he getting off better? Is he picking it up? And that's the other thing that Pat said about Mazi Smith. He is getting off the ball better. We'll see when we get there. But it sounds like, and Mazi's not a guy that talks a lot. We dropped that quick audio. Maybe I still have it here. Give me a second. Yep. This is what Mazi said. Very short, sweet, simple, to the point. But a big deal, if true.
What's it been like learning from Mike Zimmer, your new defensive coordinator?
It's a familiar defense. Very familiar defense. I know what needs to be done.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
straight to the point, straight like that.
Yeah.
Straight like that. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but him, like, confidence comes with knowing, right? You're more confident when you go into anything studying or knowing it better than not. And clearly, he didn't have that confidence last year being asked to do something he was not asked to do in college. Something that I thought they would ask him to do as he developed. Nope, they skipped the development part and said, we need you to do this now. And he lost confidence. So I think he will gain that back by being in a scheme that he's familiar with. We'll see if it translates. Man, a whole lot coming out. Again, I didn't get to everything, or I'll be here all day going around the nation. But the first padded practice did not disappoint. Unless you were looking in the stands. I mean, y'all know I don't care about none of that stuff. But that was a big talking point yesterday. Look at the stands, man. Nobody here. We'll see if that translates during the regular season. But I was kind of getting a little laugh out of Twitter yesterday, going crazy over the stands thing. I'd much rather want to know about what's happening on the field, but I get it, man. You know, Cowboys fans they fed up. They fed up, you know. Okay, let me pivot here. See if I missed any supers. 351-999-3787, by the way. If you guys want to call in as we wrap up this show, and then we'll get into this chat and we'll wrap, man. I missed some supers yesterday when I was with Vach, so I'm going to run this back.
Super chat.
My bad. I thought the top were the only supers we had yesterday, but actually, where are we at? Boom, boom, boom. Jay Versick, Smoke, and Towboat dropped a few prior. So Jay Versick yesterday. Forgive me if these supers have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I missed them. Jay Versick said, "Good morning, fellas. Hope all is straight. Appreciate you." Smoke one for you. Shouts out to him. One of the most active guys. I appreciate him tagging us on Twitter and a lot of these things. I can't see the Facebook things. I don't got Facebook no more. But everything else, I'm good to go. Smoke one for you. He said, he dropped 5 and said, "Oh, heck, y'all brought out Durag Sky's alter ego on this show. It's about to be lit. Watching Sky, the real dream team. We are the Harlem Heat of this thing, bro." Straight like that. Appreciate you, Smoke one. Towboat.
Super chat.
He dropped 2 supers at $2. That is 4. He said Lance couldn't even make second string for San Fran. And he says something is wrong. Oh, some more super chats. We good to go now with the supers, big dog. Lance could make second team. You know, there's conflicting reports on that whole situation. I gave my spiel on it yesterday. I wasn't at San Francisco. I'm not a San Fran fan, so I wasn't following it exclusively. But based off what we know about him now, what we've seen and things like that, I am of the belief the mental processing part, they didn't feel comfortable with him, like in Kyle Shanahan's offense. They had to change the offense too much. And as we see, you don't need to do that. His offense is already spectacular. It's already great. Spectacular is the word of the day. So I don't care how strong you think his arm is, how great it looks throwing. And by the way, you can tell he worked on his mechanics, boy. If he's not running, you see him, the follow through, it looked like he posing every time. You can tell he worked on his mechanics. But it's the mental processing for me, and that comes with experience, and not just like NFL experience. He doesn't have the quarterback experience. So I personally, that's why they decided to say, we don't have time to give you 2-3 years to get that type of experience. I'm not changing I'm not Shane Steichen. We're not doing that. So I think that's why they moved on. But other fans will say, well, no, he didn't get beat out by this person or that person. They failed him in this and that. And that they very well could have. I think they did fail him because they shouldn't have took him and put that pressure on him, Towboat. But he's here now. He has shown some progression as a player, enough for a lot of you wacky fans to talk about him being a franchise quarterback. Not at all. That is, we're so far from that. I don't even know if he's going to be able to do that for you, barring some crazy ass injury. Ain't his fault that this is the team that brought him here. He should have went somewhere where he would have had the legitimate ability to do so. So let's just hope he continues to progress. And if he's needed to be called upon, he goes in there and he keeps his team afloat. And the best case scenario is he goes stupid crazy and you have the confidence in him moving forward. But man, I just feel like it's so far from here to that. So far from here to that. Jay Lombardi said, quote, "Give Lance a chance, clowns." I ain't gonna call them clowns, Jay. Give him a chance to show something in camp. Yeah, absolutely. Give him a chance to show something in preseason. 100%. Give him a chance to lead your franchise in 2024 in a year where it's, I know this is a low bar, championship game or bust. What the wrong with y'all? No, you hate my man so bad. You are willing to ignore all football logic. Y'all think this Madden, don't y'all? I think just Madden, just throw him up in there and just take off out the pocket. 99 arm strength. I don't even know if he's 99 arm strength. Just zip it. QB vision. You can control it. You can't have legitimate football conversations with those types because they're too emotionally invested in the other guy on the negative side. I'd have the same energy if you are ones that are saying, don't give him a chance to go out in preseason and camp and improve. I have the same energy. You do need to give him a chance to improve in preseason, improve in camp. But don't be that guy talking about he's next. Who's next? Not him. Not right now. Poindexter calling in on at the end of the show. What's good with you, man?
Oh, man, life is good. Life is very good, man, because the football is about to get underway. Yeah. I just want to give y'all the flowers, man. You and all the other content creators that I listen to, man, y'all working real hard at bringing us that good information from camp and stuff and everything like this here, man. I heard some stuff about, $300 to watch them practice and stuff, man, and that's outrageous because I went to camp when they was in Austin, and we was at St. Edwards. Absolutely free, man. And I got to chop it up with Michael Irvin and Nate Newton and all them, man. It was just so much fun, man. I even got to talk to the mayor of Austin, and it was a great time, man, and everything was absolutely free, so I can't understand to go and try to get to California and pay all that money just to see my team practice. We ain't talking about a game. We talking about practice.
Hey, Poindexter, before you move on, Poindexter, I do want to touch on that a bit because look, I moved to Dallas, right? I lived in Pennsylvania for years, and I used to hate not being able to be at camp. I moved to Dallas, and I'm like, yeah, now I'm closer. I'll be able to go to like practices or whatever. And knowing that they would be in Oxnard, I already knew that. But they do come back the last 2 weeks. But I hear you, bro. Like, why does my local team, why do I have to pony up the bread to fly out there, stay there, then pay parking, pay for VIP, spend all that money just to watch practice because you want to get an extra dollar when it's practice, man? It's practice.
It's practice.
When I lived in PA, my uncle's he was a huge Redskins fan at the time. I mean, now a different story.
Yeah.
But he would take me every summer where he decided to go. They used to come down to Carlisle, which again is maybe an hour away from, maybe a little more than that. So it's not like you're got to get on a plane. And we would go down there, we watch. Yeah. They didn't pay no money. We was close to the players. I'm sitting here looking at LeVar Arrington. I could probably touch his pads. In order to touch a pad with the Cowboys practice, now you got to pay $250, $300, whatever it is. Oh, they practice on the other side. You got to pay $300 to go over there. I mean, it's ridiculous for sure. The Oxnard thing is so stupid to me. The people that live there don't really like it. If your team is here, go to San Antonio or something. But going all the way to California is dumb, and it's nothing but a money grab. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, West Coast Cowboy fans. I'm so sorry, but I don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah. And it was crazy, man, because I went. It's a 2.5-hour drive from where I'm at, to get to Austin, and I got stopped by Highway Patrol on the way back. And I got out the car, I got my gear on and stuff and everything like this here, and I told him, hey, man, I just came from the Dallas Cowboy, training camp and stuff. And he let me make it because he was a fan, too. So, that was pretty cool. But, the only thing that I was really looking at as far as practice and stuff and everything is how they going to use Turpin this year. Because I think he can be like a baby Debo in the offense, all over the field. I don't really like to talk about past stuff, but, back when they had Pollard and Zeke, I thought they worked better as a tandem. They had the most positive plays when both of them was on the field. So I know we got running back by the committee, but I do want to see if they're going to do any tandem running backs, to kind of switch things up. We are going to be a passing offense, but we need to run the ball. We need to know how to run the ball. We're going to be a passing offense. That's McCarthy. We're going to be a passing offense, but we have to be able to run situational, be able to run, get tough yards because a few years ago against San Francisco, that's what kind of game it was. Both defense was playing really good, and they was they got out of it. They wouldn't, some games gonna be hard fought like that. You're gonna have to run the ball, you have to play field position, and it's gonna be some low scoring games. Everything ain't gonna be 30-point games. It's just that's just not the NFL. You're gonna have to learn how to win all kinds of ways. And that's one thing that I'm going to watch this year. It's not just winning games, it's how we win games. Are we working toward getting to them playoffs? I know we was in good position last year in the playoffs, but we wasn't doing the things to be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
We was getting wins. We wasn't getting them real quality wins, and I didn't see anything. It's like if you're in the playoffs, you're supposed to do what's been working for you all year. And I just thought the whole team was bad. You can blame it on players, but it was the whole team, the whole vibe, everything was bad. And I don't think we're going to have that again. Now, I know we need to try to get, players in and stuff, but what we got is a good team, and I think you touched on it earlier that we need to try to get the things to get us in the playoffs and win in the playoffs. So if it means getting free agents, moving some things around, it might mean getting rid of some people that we really thought was going to be on this team. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it takes, man, and I'm looking forward to it. I enjoy the wins. I enjoy the journey. I just hope it ends better.
Well said, man. Well said. I'll touch on a couple of these things, man. Appreciate your point, Dexter.
All right. Hey, man, love you. God bless you and your family, man.
Salute. Much love. Great call. And some stuff right there. I want to touch on the Turpin thing. I brought it up because Turpin was pointed out by Kyle Yeomans and touch on the run game. And I want to touch on my man Cuban. Cuban, what I'm tripping about, bro? Let's talk. What I'm tripping about? Is it because I said the West Coast thing don't make sense to me? Is that what it is? You from the West Coast? It don't, man. It don't. I get things. They're trying to make money. Well, do it here. Do it in the state. Do it where, you know what I mean? I just don't understand it. And I know a lot of people say the weather, and there's some people that say, well, that's why your team's soft. But they were going there before too. And now they have an indoor practice facility, so they don't have to worry about the weather. And if you're gonna do it there, then don't upcharge the fans, man. Last thing on this, by the way. Last thing on this. When the opening presser happened, and they brought up the whole fan apathy, this and that and this. It just tell you how defensive they got. Steven or Jerry or somebody came out and said, "Oh man, we had the fastest sellout we ever had in the history of our team." Okay, because that's what matters to y'all. And I get there's gonna be people who say, "Well, making money." The problem is that you have the people that are in charge of making money running football things. I said this to y'all months ago and all the time. That cannot mix. Can't. Oil, water. You go book the Jonas Brothers and Dolly Parton. Okay? Let me handle the trades, the contracts, the drafting, the free agency. You don't need to speak on that. You just make sure the stage is right for JoJo Siwa or whoever you're going to bring here during Thanksgiving. Jelly Roll. Y'all know it's coming. Yeah. Make sure blockchain is the sponsor. Worry about money too. How I'm a hypocrite? Dog, are you really trying to compare me to the owner of a sports team? What?
Okay. So then, now, when does crack? Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
Answer that question. Are you not listening to
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
You ain't just do that. You ain't just compare me to them. You must be new here, bro. But I'll say it for you again, for the people in the back that ain't paying attention. Owner, money men should not be mixing with the football. Shouldn't be doing it. That's about as basic and simple as I can go without having to keep repeating myself every single offseason. Now let's get back to the football. Poindexter, Turpin, run game. Kevontae Turpin, for the second offseason training camp in a row, is getting involved on offense. Hopefully it takes the next step, Poindexter. 140 snaps last year. Would love to see 350 plus. Would love to see him be that true weapon X on offense, because I think he can be that guy. I truly do. Well, that was fun. See, Yo, AG, that is a great analogy. That was the equivalent of me, my man saying I'm hyping up Daxon when I'm quite literally like, are you listening? Where's the hype? Hey, Cuban, my bad. Cuban said he's born and raised in the West Coast. My bad. I'm not trying to attack the West Coast fans, man. You know what? I take it back. Go to Cali, Oxnard every year, upcharge every single year, get more expensive, piss off the people who live around there. Keep going. Keep doing. Because I get it. You know, Cali fans don't want to fly into Texas and do that. So, you know, and they've been doing it for decades. My bad, Cuban. My bad, dog. I just, every year though? Okay. My bad. I'm a hypocrite. I'm all about the money. Yeah, all that good stuff. Before y'all go, please don't be hypocritical. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button, man. Share this thing. Good talk today on the first padded practice. I don't know if they're padded up today. Let me see if I can. We should be getting a press conference here anytime soon. Might sound silly if they're not padded up today, but they only get X amount of padded practices. And I think if they are practicing when they come back down, that includes here. So they got to kind of be strategic about their padded practices. But regardless, they'll be practicing today. And I'm talking. They'll be practicing today, and we'll be reacting to it tomorrow, potentially with a guest. We'll see. With that said, Cowboys Nation, let me go ahead and press this button real quick and get up out of here. I'm talking too much.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Maybe on my ass, Mr. Postman. Hey, can't please everybody, man. All you can do is be you. If you enjoy it, they enjoy it. If not, it's all good. You here. You gotta like something, man. Love y'all. We out of here. Make sure I run this thing back if you missed it, and we'll be back tomorrow morning.